Welcome. If you are watching this video, you are likely taking a courageous step. You are here to learn and grow. This video is about communication. It's about understanding yourself and others. It's about building healthier relationships. This journey may challenge you. You might feel uncomfortable. That's okay. Change is rarely easy. We're going to talk about listening. Not just waiting for your turn to talk. Real listening means being present, focused, and open to what the other person is saying. Learning to listen effectively is a skill. Just like any skill, it takes time and practice. It might feel awkward at first. You might feel like you're not good at it. That's normal. Don't get discouraged. Think about learning to ride a bike. Remember the wobbly starts, the falls, the frustration? But with practice, it became easier. Listening is similar. Many men find themselves in this position. They want to communicate better, but they don't know where to start. You are not alone in this. Many men in this program have felt the same way. They felt the same discomfort, the same resistance. The good news is that they also experienced the benefits. They learned to communicate more effectively. They built stronger relationships. They felt more connected to the people they cared about. Let's face it, silence can be awkward, especially for guys. We're often taught to fill the silence, to keep the conversation moving. But what if I told you that silence can actually be a good thing? When you're really listening to someone, there will be pauses. Moments when they're gathering their thoughts, and you're absorbing what they've just said. It's natural to want to jump in, to offer a solution or share your own experience. But sometimes the best thing you can do is just be quiet. Silence can be a powerful way to show someone you're truly listening. You might be thinking, this all sounds great, but conversations will take forever if we keep stopping and starting. And you're right, it might feel that way at first. But here's the thing, slowing down the conversation isn't about making it last longer, it's about making it deeper. Think about it like driving a car. You wouldn't speed through a winding mountain road at 100 miles an hour, would you? You'd slow down, take your time, and appreciate the scenery. Communication is the same way. When you slow down, you give yourself a chance to really hear what the other person is saying. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. You might be worried that using these new listening skills will make you look stupid, like you're parroting back what the other person is saying, or like you don't know what to say yourself. It's okay to feel that way. But let me ask you this. What's more important, protecting your ego or truly understanding the person you're with? When you focus on repeating back what you've heard, you're not doing it to sound smart. You're doing it to make sure you understand. When you use these listening skills, you're not just learning how to communicate, you're building trust. You're showing the other person that you're present, you're engaged, and you care about what they have to say. And that can make all the difference in your relationships. Remember that trust is built over time, through small, consistent actions. Every time you choose to listen, to be present, and to try to understand, you're laying another brick in that foundation of trust. We've talked about the importance of listening to what someone is saying, but what about what they're not saying? Emotions play a huge role in communication. Sometimes the most important messages are conveyed through tone of voice, body language, and facial expressions. As men, we're often taught to focus on the facts, the logic, the information being presented. But to truly understand someone, you need to tune into their emotions. What's their tone of voice telling you? Are they smiling or frowning? Do their shoulders seem tense or relaxed? These nonverbal cues can give you valuable insights into what the other person is feeling, even if they're not explicitly stating it. You might be thinking, I'm not good with emotions. I don't even know how to identify what I'm feeling half the time. That's okay. We're not all born with a vast emotional vocabulary. But just like any language, it's something you can learn and develop over time. Start by paying attention to how different emotions feel in your body. As you become more aware of your own emotional landscape, you'll start to recognize those same emotions in others. One of the most important aspects of communication is understanding the emotional impact of your words and actions. When you're communicating with someone, it's not just about conveying information, it's about how that information makes them feel. If you're constantly interrupting, dismissing their feelings, or talking over them, you're sending the message that their thoughts and emotions don't matter. This can lead to feelings of hurt, frustration, and resentment. On the other hand, when you listen attentively, validate their feelings, and show that you care, you're creating a safe and supportive environment for open and honest communication. One of the biggest challenges in communication is learning to separate our thoughts from our feelings. We often use the words "I think" and "I feel" interchangeably, but they represent very different things. A thought is a mental process, an idea, a belief. A feeling is an emotional response, a sensation in your body. When you say "I feel like you're not listening to me," you're actually expressing a thought, a perception based on your interpretation of the situation. You're not describing a feeling. A more accurate way to express this would be, "I feel frustrated because I don't feel heard." Think about the impact of truly listening to someone. It's not just about that one conversation, it's about the ripple effect it creates. When someone feels heard and understood, they feel valued, they feel respected, and that can change the entire dynamic of a relationship. Imagine a stone being dropped into a still pond, the ripples spread outward, touching every part of the pond. Communication is often described as a bridge between people. When we communicate effectively, we build bridges of understanding, empathy, and connection. But when we communicate poorly, we erect walls of frustration, resentment, and anger. Think about a time when you felt like someone wasn't really listening to you. Did you feel closer to them, or did you feel a distance growing between you? When you listen with the intent to understand, you're building bridges instead of walls. Understanding doesn't mean you have to agree with everything someone says. It doesn't mean you have to condone their actions or change your own beliefs. It simply means you're making an effort to see the world from their perspective. Think of it as putting on a pair of glasses that allow you to see the world through their eyes. You might not like everything you see, but you'll gain a deeper understanding of where they're coming from. This ability to understand different perspectives is invaluable. As you develop your listening skills, you'll not only improve your relationships with others, but you'll also deepen your understanding of yourself. You'll become more aware of your own thoughts, feelings, and motivations. Think of listening as a journey of self-discovery. As you listen to others, you'll inevitably learn something about yourself. You'll discover your own biases, your own triggers, and your own areas for growth. By embracing the discomfort of change and committing to the practice of listening, you'll unlock a deeper level of self-awareness, empathy, and connection. We've talked about the importance of listening and some of the challenges that come with it. Now, let's get specific about common barriers that might be preventing you from being the best listener you can be. These barriers can be like roadblocks. stopping you from truly hearing and understanding the other person. One common barrier is distractions. In today's world, it's easy to get sidetracked by our phones, the television, or even just our own thoughts. When you're trying to have a conversation, make a conscious effort to minimize these distractions. Put your phone away, turn off the TV, and give the other person your full attention. Another barrier is judging. Staying present in the moment is crucial for effective listening. Our minds tend to wander, jumping ahead to what we want to say next or replaying past conversations in our heads. This can cause us to miss important details and make it difficult to truly connect with the other person. One way to stay present is to focus on your breath. Pay attention to the sensation of your breath as you inhale and exhale. This can help to anchor you in the present moment and quiet your mind. Assumptions are dangerous. When we make assumptions about what the other person is thinking or feeling, we're setting ourselves up for misunderstandings and conflict. Instead of jumping to conclusions, ask questions to clarify what they mean. For example, instead of assuming you know why your partner is upset, try saying, "I can see that you're upset. Can you help me understand what's going on?" This shows that you're genuinely interested in their perspective and that you're willing to listen without judgment. Remember, communication is a two-way street. Respect is paramount in any relationship, and it's especially crucial in communication. When you respect someone, you value their thoughts, feelings, and opinions, even if they differ from your own. This doesn't mean you have to agree with everything they say, but it does mean that you listen with an open mind and acknowledge their right to their own perspective. One way to show respect is to avoid interrupting. When you interrupt someone, you're essentially saying that your thoughts are more important than theirs. Let the other person finish speaking before you share your own thoughts or opinions. Another way to show respect is to validate the other person's feelings. We've covered a lot of ground already, but let's dive into some practical tools that can make a real difference in your communication. One of the most powerful techniques is paraphrasing. Now, this isn't about simply repeating what the other person said word for word, like a parrot. It's about reflecting back the essence of their message, showing them that you've truly heard and understood. Think of it like this. Imagine you're looking into a mirror. You see your reflection staring back at you, confirming what you already know. Section 2. Decoding the language of emotions. Emotions can be complex, often difficult to express and understand. They can feel like a foreign language. Emotions have their own vocabulary and nuances. Think of emotions as colors on a painter's palette. Each emotion has its own unique shade and intensity. Identifying and articulating emotions is key. Pay attention to the words people use. Instead of just hearing "I'm upset," delve deeper. Are they frustrated, hurt, angry, or disappointed? Each emotion carries a different message. Section 3. Untangling thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are interconnected, each influencing the other. It's easy to mistake a thought for a feeling or act impulsively on an unexamined emotion. Differentiating between them can be a game changer in our relationships. Think of thoughts as the captain, feelings as the wind, and behaviors as the crew. Identifying thought patterns and resulting behaviors gives you control. You become a conscious participant in your own life. Section 4. The emotional impact of abuse. Abuse has a devastating emotional impact on the victim. It leaves deep wounds that may never fully heal. Every abusive act chips away at the victim's self-worth. Healing from abuse is a journey, not a destination. It takes time, support, and empathy. Section 1. Stepping into their shoes. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. Imagine wearing shoes that aren't your own. They might be too tight or uncomfortable. That's empathy, seeing the world through their eyes. So how do you actually practice empathy? How do you bridge the gap between your experience and someone else's? One powerful tool is reflection. Reflecting is like holding up a mirror to another person's emotions, allowing them to see their feelings acknowledged and validated. When you reflect someone's emotions, you're not judging them, analyzing them, or trying to fix them. You're simply acknowledging what you're hearing and seeing. You might say something like, "You seem really frustrated right now," or "I can hear the sadness in your voice." These simple reflections can be incredibly powerful. They show the other person that you're present, you're listening, and you care about how they feel. And when people feel heard and understood, they're more likely to open up, to communicate more effectively, and to resolve conflicts peacefully. Conflict is a natural part of any relationship. Empathy can be a powerful tool for de-escalating conflict, for turning down the heat and creating space for understanding. When tensions are high, pause, take a breath, and try to understand the other person's perspective. This simple act can shift the dynamic and create space for a more productive conversation. Validation is a key component of empathy. It's about communicating that their feelings are understandable. You don't have to agree, but acknowledge their feelings. Imagine someone afraid of spiders. You might think it's irrational, but say, "I see spiders frighten you." Validation can be healing. It builds trust and strengthens relationships. When validated, we feel seen and understood, and that's a powerful feeling. Let's talk about expressing your feelings to foster understanding, not conflict. Use I statements to take responsibility for your emotions. Instead of saying, "You're making me angry," say, "I feel angry when this happens." This creates a safer space for open communication. Remember, communication builds bridges, not walls. We've covered a lot of ground in this video, from active listening to empathy to expressing your own feelings responsibly. Now let's bring it all together and talk about how to navigate conflict constructively. Remember, conflict is a normal part of any relationship. It's how we handle conflict that determines whether it strengthens or weakens our bond. When conflict arises, try to approach it with curiosity rather than judgment. Instead of seeing it as a battle to be won, see it as an opportunity to understand each other better. Listen attentively to the other person's perspective, even if you don't agree with it. Try to understand their feelings, their needs, their motivations. And when it's your turn to speak, use I statements to express your own feelings and needs in a clear and non-confrontational way. Nonviolent communication, developed by Marshall Rosenberg, emphasizes empathy, compassion, and honest self-expression. Focus on needs rather than blame or judgment. The four components are observation, feeling, need, and request. Observe without judgment, express feelings, connect to needs, and make requests. This approach focuses on needs and solutions rather than blame and criticism. Mastering communication is a lifelong journey, not a destination. It takes time, practice, and a willingness to be open, vulnerable, and sometimes uncomfortable. But the rewards are immeasurable. When you learn to communicate effectively, you build stronger relationships, resolve conflicts peacefully, and create a more harmonious and fulfilling life for yourself and those around you. Remember, you don't have to do this alone. There are resources available to support you on this journey. For more videos like this, along with coping skills, blogs, audio shorts, and other helpful resources, visit breakingchaosbuildingclarity.com. You've got this. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep building those bridges of communication.